And we are live. Welcome to I Drink and I Know Things, episode number 25. Hello, everybody. Ladies, gentlemen, people who self identify as toasters and electronic appliances. How are you all doing today? Memes. So, what you were pretty much saying while we were off air is your brother in law is pretty much me. Like he's a libertarian stuck in like Seattle up here in the Pacific Northwest of broken dreams.
Oh, in some ways, I'd say he, in some ways, is a lot less offensive, but more or less very similar. It's kind of like a rightish libertarian gentleman that happens to live up in Seattle. And I must issue a statement about your preamble. We must remember he was a brave little toaster.
Well, no, what do you mean less politically offensive than I? What do you mean by that, sir?
No, not politically offensive, grossly offensive. Like we could have these conversations, and the only reason we're probably going to get punched in the face is because someone simply just disagrees with us. I'm only basing this on historical context and the fact there may or may not have been a recent program where we were discussing the amount of ancient currency required to pay somebody for forcing their will upon another.
Oh, shekels equals rape. Yeah, I remember that. That was interesting to say the least. But the thing remains, man.
Why are you talking about that again?
Shekels.
I was citing context.
Yeah. Memes brought it up. Memes loves the rape.
I mean, I enjoy
Why are
rap.
we talking about the 40 stream where he was counting
Yes.
shekels?
And converting to troy ounces of gold.
Yes, I remember. I actually did watch a good portion of it until I was, or had my interests diverted.
The level of gross offense and interest, yeah, the gross offense had peaked, the interest had declined.
No, I wasn't offended at all.
Okay.
Well, it's hard to offend you. But okay. So memes. Why haven't you shown your brother-in-law the channel yet? He might identify.
I think he's on your Discord. I think I invited him. I think he's on my Discord. No, he has the ability, I think, to view most everything. He just
Who's your brother? What's his handle?
That's a great question. I think it's Lando something. Londo? Hold on.
Hey, Farty.
Well, Farty's here, so let's start attacking the Australians. So they suck, am I right? Like, who the fuck? When you walk in a bar and you hear somebody yelling, they're either American or Australian, right? I mean,
Usually.
That could be many different people.
You lot like to talk so tough, but we don't have guns out here, remember? And we've got every dangerous animal on the planet, and we still fucking survive.
Just barely. You fuckers.
Dude, like, he could look at us and unleash a plague of scorpions.
Yeah, I like scorpions.
You like little pricks.
You just like to get stung. We know how you are.
Yeah, you like a little prick, do you, Sharani?
Well,
From my husband.
They got the little pinchies and stuff like that, and that can be kind of uncomfortable.
I've been around scorpions a good portion of my teenage years into adulthood.
Oh, that's great. Memes. The only thing he can say is that could be a little uncomfortable. Yeah, a scorpion fucking stinging you repeatedly.
Well, they hold you and sting you. Wait, aren't they spiders or arachnids?
Yes, they are arachnids.
Yeah, but they're not spiders. They're different than spiders.
So spider's a subsect of scorpion.
No, they're different.
So they're subsects of arachnids.
Will somebody slap him?
It's too early in the morning for this.
Why are we having so much trouble? Like, if we've been doing this for like
you are
other,
the only one who seems to be having the issue. Farty,
well, I have many
you either
issues.
need coffee or tea or beer or
Yeah, I
some
got
sort of soda.
some coffee. You just only started it.
Well, you just need a good pick me up.
Kobe?
Someone needs to pick you up and throw you against the wall and then throw that shock collar on you that MC suggested.
It's harder to throw me nowadays, and I feel bad because I did that to an underclassman at one point. And yeah, don't throw people against walls. It's not nice.
Unless they're midget and they're wearing
Unless
Velcro.
they want.
No, only if it's consensual and it should be for a production.
Yeah.
You take precautions.
Have you ever gone to?
Jeez.
Never mind. I'm gonna leave that alone. Okay, I digress. Okay,
A
back.
lot.
Yeah, back to Scorpions.
Like
Oh,
the
Mortal
Mortal
Kombat?
Kombat Scorpion, and which version? Is it the new school Scorpion where he's a good guy, or the old school Scorpion where he burns a lot of
Wait,
shit and
what?
is a bad guy?
Hold on. Just from the sheer trauma of playing the arcade game and the folks that always knew the moves ahead of hand, and they're like, "Get over here, uppercut! Get over here, uppercut!" And then you learn to Sub-Zero.
Sub-Zero's a good guy too.
Well, which one?
No, Sub-Zero's not a fucking good guy.
In Mortal Kombat 11, Sub-Zero and Scorpion are both good guys. Until the time warp.
What's Noob Saibot?
Noob Saibot is
He's the black outline character that basically is Tobaz Boone spelled backwards.
He is fuck. I just said his name.
There was a great 49.5% combo you could do back in like MK3 Ultra or whatever.
He is Sub-Zero's brother.
No, this is why Street Fighter is the better fucking game genre. Sorry, it's the better game series.
Contestable.
What? You don't like Street Fighter?
Oh no, I love Street Fighter, dude. I remember playing Street Fighter 2 back in the day with my buddy Robbie. Like, that was the shit.
Well, yeah, you got Ryu and shit. You know, a Hadouken. Come on, that's way better than get over here. I mean, come on now.
Get over here was always fun to do. Get over here.
Well, then he changed it to come here. They must have been paying him by the word.
Or it was the processors weren't big enough to hold more than a few voices.
Did any of you watch the video that I sent earlier where the Magic the Gathering artist chick is being... Oh god, what's the fuck? She's getting into a whole lot of shit by SJWs because she liked a conservative tweet.
I didn't see the one you shared. I did watch Liberty Doll. She put out a video on it today. So I did watch her video.
That's what I put out or put in the Discord.
Okay, yeah. Liberty Doll is hot. Sorry, I just like to watch her mouth move.
Oh yeah.
Does that make me a horrible person? I mean,
nope.
I'm okay if it does.
Nope.
There's nothing like a hot libertarian chick. I'm sorry, like she won me over with that.
I clicked the wrong thing.
She kind of looks a bit like Lacey Green.
And Lacey Green, I would hit that. I would totally hit that.
But no, she's dating the giraffe dude.
Memes, you would fuck Lacey Green, right?
Well, if we liked each other and she wasn't in a relationship and everything was consensual and everything, she's a lovely young woman.
And you had a chlorophyll bag.
I didn't ask you if you were gonna rape Lacey Green. Jesus Christ, dude.
Well, I mean, you were the one talking about shekel conversions for said acts and shit earlier. I mean, hey, I don't know.
So were you.
Yeah, I was citing context for gross offense.
Well, I'm just saying though, I'd hit Lacey Green, twice even if she'd let me.
What's your name? Ted Stryker? Come on. Freaking leave her alone.
Why would you hit her? That's just not nice, Dodge.
God damn it.
Yeah. Is it going to be with a brick-shaped object made of brick in the face?
No, well,
Just say your warning. Say your warning.
the views expressed by the panel of Mad Dodge Productions are not necessarily the views of Mad Dodge Productions or the Red Eye Stream. Thank you very much for tuning in, and do not be offended. If you are, go kill yourself. I mean, go silently hang yourself with an Ethernet cord. I mean,
They already came for Cairo, dude. You're up next, man. I'm gonna get that Goldberg meme going.
oh, I'm gonna get the spear, huh?
Who's next?
Whose neck? Wow, memes. Really?
No,
You too?
No. Who's
Wow,
next?
memes?
Oh, I'll
Wow,
always be next.
that's terrible.
What?
No, you said whose neck? That's what I heard come out of your
Who's
mouth.
next? Oh, my apologies to all the giraffes out there.
Well, you do know giraffe lives matter, people. We
And
gotta-
what about that giraffe Democrat dude who they made a huge meme out of that made his neck grow
Are you
longer
talking
and
about the
longer and longer?
professor or something? That's the only
Yeah.
connotation I know. Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah, he was talking with not roving, the other millennial dude.
I don't remember.
Lives in like Ireland or something. I don't know. They had an interesting conversation, I heard.
To be sure.
Is that whose neck you're talking about?
I think so. I'm thinking of individuals who we would know with long necks that we would say probably mean things about.
Wait, though, are you anti-Irish? You know, that Irish dude over there. I
Oh.
mean, what was that? That sounded kind of spiteful there.
Oh,
Memes.
well, it's part of my people too.
How many different peoples do you have? You're Jewish, you're Irish, you're Catholic. I mean, what's next?
Well, Russian. I'm not sure if I'm Catholic. I'm some form of Christendom. I had some holy water thrown on me. I'm English. Recently discovered I was Scottish. I guess I'm no longer Native American, though I didn't check the actual test that happened for my second cousin, but third cousin, second cousin, something like that. But
sure
my
that-
nephew.
Jesus Christ meme.
You sure that was holy water the priest splashed on you?
I don't know. I don't really remember. All I remember is when I was 4 years old, I got an Ankylosaurus toy from Dino Riders when my brother was born. It was a happy day.
Okay.
Oh no, and Dick Balls is in the chat. He says Lacey Green.
Hi,
is
Dick
pretty hot.
Balls.
Yeah, Lacey Green is pretty hot. I mean, seriously. You know, she's got the naughty librarian look going on. I get that.
Not all glasses wearers are librarians.
No, but I want a library.
I
want a legit library with every book known to mankind in it.
Oh, you have the internet.
No, I want a library with actual books.
Oh,
Yeah,
If you
well,
become president, you might get one.
I just want a chick
would I
with
wanna do
a
that?
short skirt and some glasses and a low cut top. You know, I'm not-
Dude, what do you guys think the President Trump library will look like?
It might have some pictures in it.
It'll definitely have a porn section.
What?
That's what I'm talking about.
So wait, what were we talking? Oh, censorship. Censorship. Yeah, I thought that was yeah. Go on. Ask questions.
I don't know. I'm still thinking about Lacey Green and that low cut top and skirt.
Well, take
just
take five and get yourself together. Go grab some ice cubes in a Ziploc bag.
Yeah, something, right? Take a cold shower.
Yeah, go flog one off and then come back.
Over there.
God damn it. All right.
But yeah,
here-
no, go on.
When it comes to censorship, that's what you wanted to talk about ultimately, memes. So when it comes to censorship, yeah, free Tyro, right? They already came for him, and his channel is way smaller than mine. Why haven't they came for us yet?
Oh,
God, your grammar's atrocious.
well, yes, and aside from that, this almost makes me think it's either we're just completely under the radar. Number two, it could have been his recent series that there wasn't much else out there presenting things in a logical, methodical format. Or number three, they want channels like this to promulgate because then they can always cite the sheer fact that you were calculating how much gold it would cost to basically commit an atrocious act on somebody. We're being lumped in with, I think, the quote unquote neo-Nazis and stuff.
Yeah, but I'm not a neo-Nazi. I've never proclaimed to be a neo-Nazi. Neither are you. You're the most leftist fucking individual I know, memes. Are you a Nazi?
He's not the most leftist individual I know.
I was compared to like Hitler back in high school from my former principal.
I just fucking love all these cunts that are saying that they're fighting Nazis and shit and all this kind of stuff, waiting until they're 70 fucking years after it was a problem before they start talking shit.
There are a bunch of problems out there, and unfortunately, I think we're continuing to create more problems with a lot of decisions and actions being taken.
Elaborate on that. What actions?
Oh, well, I mean, didn't Facebook and Instagram, all the Mr. Zuckerberg based platforms, just kind of kick off Alex Jones again, along with Louis Farrakhan, Milo Yiannopoulos, I believe, and
Alex Jones again.
Yep, Alex Jones for the second time. Paul Joseph Watson. There was Laura Luma, and then there was another gentleman, something Neil. It sounded like Nielsen or something. Nellen, I think. I don't know who that is, but I'm like, all right. So these folks were kicked off, and apparently, I guess there were media stories that were either published or seemingly ready to go right as either the news broke or perhaps even before some of these individuals found out.
Well, I know that Snoop Dogg is pissed off that Louis Farrakhan got kicked off and was called an alt-right leader.
Well, Louis Farrakhan is an alt-right leader. Have you heard his rhetoric?
Like
he is
I told you earlier today when I was talking to you and MC and whoever the fuck else was in the chat, I had no idea who the fuck he is.
Yeah, no, he is far right. He doesn't believe in gay rights. He doesn't believe in women's rights. He is anti everything they stand for. Yet they uphold him as their fucking godsend. It's ridiculous. It really is.
Wait a second. So am I alt-right because I have 2 degrees of separation from Louis Farrakhan? Because I remember, what was it? I think was it Mr. Angel Snubnub 7? He's met Louis Farrakhan and shit, and I think he used to be a member of the NOI.
Well, no, you're all right because you're a white dragon. So
No. It's the control alt-right. Furries are welcome.
Shandor says he's a leftist who's hella anti-Semitic.
Louis Farrakhan is very anti-Semitic. That's absolutely true. Frank's right or not wrong there. Sorry.
I wonder why they haven't gone for Avi Yemeni yet. Because he's been fucking like Alex Jones coming out since bloody day one. They got to shut us down on Facebook and Twitter and bloody YouTube and all this. So subscribe to us and go to this and share this everywhere and fucking blah blah blah. Yes, all right, Alex Goldbergstein.
And Magic Bullocks in the chat says memes is alt wrong.
Oh, that's a new one. I'm gonna have to use that.
No. Memes is Control Alt Delete.
See, I always thought Invalid Syntax would be a good band name.
I think there was one called Syntax Error.
Memes, you think a lot of things, and sometimes it gets you into a lot of trouble.
Oh, tell me about
Which is probably why MC wants you to have a shock collar.
it. Wait, where do I have to wear it?
On your dick.
What type of wattage are we talking about? Because I've heard from certain sources that that may be enjoyable. I'm unaware. I have never tried.
See, like I said yesterday, you are worse than I am, and I'm pretty bad.
I've seen videos though. Not of blokes with shock collars on their dicks, but chicks were getting their tits zapped and stuff like that.
Oh, come on.
He's got a point.
I learned a long time ago there's certain folks that may be into pain, and all I know is if there's a dude that kind of gets off to throwing 100 needles into his dick and stuff, hey, I mean, you go your way, I'll go your way.
Oh, so that was you in the Pain Olympics, was it?
No, I only stapled myself back in the day to kind of freak some folks out. And you throw some ketchup in there and everything. You make it, I'm not a doctor, so I probably should have learned anatomy first, but I wasn't the only one.
I'm totally confused, memes. Wow. Okay. Moving on. So when it comes to censorship and the media bias, where do you think this is going to lead, memes? Even you, as someone who is center left, you even have to see the fucking problem going on here, right?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I mean, this is one of the things that I do think is you're seeing a lot of rise in kind of alt-rightish folks, because it's like, all right, I even brought this up to ex-Mrs. Memes at one point when I kind of look back and now realize I was kind of arguing that I was a Nazi to her, or at least the perception that many people would have, since I went to a freedom of speech rally where Boston Free Speech and folks from the Proud Boys happened to be there, along with at then time Senate candidate Dr. Shiva. But the thing is, there, I'm like, what's the only like real group you can just make fun of and just get away with completely nowadays in society? I'm like, straight white men, and she had no comment for that at all. And I'm like, you know what, that's fine, you can rag on folks like that all day long, like ain't no problem with that. The issue is if all of a sudden these folks start ragging on the other folks that are ragging on them, and then you call them racist and bigoted, and you start getting them deplatformed and potentially start removing their means to survive, such as having a bank account or utilizing services such as MasterCard. You're essentially creating parallel economies, and you're just breeding more hatred as well. So if it comes to that point, it's like all of a sudden it's like, well, you folks are bad, you guys should just keep to your own. And then all of a sudden you get the meme of, it's like, well, folks, I guess we just got each other now. And all of a sudden it's like, oh my God, white. It's not productive.
Yeah, but you know what also isn't productive is the other side of the coin, memes, where you have people arguing in favor of reparations 150 years after the Civil War ended. I mean, are you fucking kidding me right now?
That's a separate topic, and there are actually arguments for it.
And when there are points pointed out to them that there are still slaves and they want us to pay for slavery back in the day, but they won't do anything for modern day slaves.
Well, slavery is still legal in these United States of America.
No, I'm not talking about slavery in the United States. I'm talking about slaves in different countries, because they'll bitch about them too.
Oh, yeah, no,
but they won't do anything about that.
Well, no, there are people doing shit about it. It's just it doesn't necessarily seem to be the most
bitching about it.
Well, it doesn't necessarily seem to be the most politically top in the hierarchy of issues for a lot of folks, and that seems to be an issue.
Okay, well, the thing it still remains. Shorty has a point. You do have slavery going on in Lebanon and these places in the Middle East.
Libya. My cousin just moved back from Lebanon.
Okay, fair enough. Whatever. Either way, it's still going on, is it not?
Yeah. Yeah, they're still taking Africans, and they're basically con them into going over there for working jobs and stuff like that. The minute they get there, they take their visas and they don't pay them, and they just go, right, you're working for us until we say fucking you can go home. I even saw a video not so long ago where there was this bloke fucking whipping the shit out of a black fella on Facebook. Funny, Facebook didn't take it down, but anyway, that shit still goes on.
Did anybody like say something or bring it to their attention?
Well, it already passed the algorithm where it came up with, this is possibly disturbing footage, click yes to continue. So, all right.
Well, real quick, Maddie in the chat says, if they did try and do reparations, they should start with the Native Americans. Maddie, if you would like to come on, I'll go ahead and throw the link out there for you. You're welcome to come on. I honestly, unpopular opinions, I don't believe Native Americans deserve reparations. I believe they got what was coming to them. I believe that they fought a gallant war for over 100 years, but they lost. Sorry, you lost.
And they made a really bad trade.
Yeah, I mean, it's the way it is. You lost. Kind of like even Girardi tells me, get the fuck over the Civil War, right? I lost. Okay, fair enough. Tell that to the Indians then.
Yeah, and since the house always wins and they've got their casinos and shit like that, and white can't still go into their casinos, don't you think that they're getting their reparations, whether we like it or not?
Some people go to the casinos because they work there. Other people go to the casinos because of all the pretty lights. Other people go there because they like the little bit of money that they do win.
There's a cheaper way for the pretty lights and stuff. Just go find a car accident. Oh, look at the pretty flashing lights.
No, that's devastation. But if you go to the casino, like even if you lose some money, you still get the pretty lights.
Alfred Keith, they lost like the Dodgers.
Yeah, I saw that. Go fuck yourself.
Too soon.
No, Dodgers have been winning, damn it. We beat the Giants last night. Thank you very fucking much.
You did not call Ogre Master Roshi looking.
There is a picture of him wearing like almost the exact same Master Roshi hat and a Hawaiian shirt. I need to find it somewhere, but it looks like Master Roshi. It's so funny. It's creepy, but it's funny.
Hi, Maddie.
Hi. I'm eating, so if it takes me a while to, retort, that's why. I'm chewing.
That's fine.
No, fair enough. Maddie, I really do feel like they fought a great war for over 100 years, but they lost. Why is that my problem?
Trail of Tears. You're telling me that was because that horrendous treatment of the people that were here before we got here? They deserve that?
And
when it comes to the Trail of Tears, half the Cherokee Nation were in favor. The other half were opposed. They had a divide amongst themselves as well. It wasn't only the quote-unquote white man putting the screws to them. Now, was it?
Now, here's my next question for you. In regards to the state of many, hashtag not all, many of the reservations and the conditions in which they live, how long do they have to fucking suffer?
That's a very good point. But when you have Western states like Oregon, California, Nevada, Idaho, Washington, where the only place that you can actually open up a casino is if you are quote unquote red, then that's a problem as well, is it not? Mm-hmm. And then why are they not supporting their own nation themselves when they open up said casino and start getting a shit ton of money in? When you look at the reservations and the plight of one tribe versus the other, it's normally the haves and the have-nots, isn't it?
It's always been a matter of the haves and the have-nots. It doesn't matter who you are in that respect.
Yeah, no, and if I'm sounding argumentative, I'm not trying to.
Oh, no, I'm not trying to. I'm arguing from, a position of someone who I guess I could say is sort of emotionally invested, not because I am Native American, not because Ronan is 3/4 Cherokee, but because I do have family that is currently being treated like shit in Cuba. So I know what it's like to be treated like shit and not get any compensation for it, because there's family I've never met that's never been able to come here. So
Well, no, from Cuba, is that what you're saying?
yeah.
Yeah. And that is a totally separate issue, which we can get into if you would like to. But when it comes to the tribes, when you're looking at okay, when they were trying to do the pipeline, right? That wasn't even Native American land that they were drilling through. Now it is, if you look at the Treaty of 1875 or whatnot. But I mean, are we really upholding treaties that we signed in 1875? I don't think we are.
Yeah, there's a lot of shit we're not upholding from treaties that we have signed a long, long time ago in a galaxy far, far away. And as far as the pipeline was concerned, there was an actual Native American tribe that was trying to conserve the water table that all the protesters had fucked up, but that's another matter entirely.
Yeah, that's one thing I did notice with the whole pipeline thing and everybody freaking out, they're going to mess up the environment, what have you. Did you see what they left behind after they left that camp?
They made it worse. God, the trash, the feces, everything. That was just horrific.
Yeah, right? That's what I was referring to. I mean, that was atrocious.
Yeah.
So I mean, you can't argue the noble savage with me when it comes to, like the commercial with the Indian shedding a tear over fucking garbage on the road. No, you can't argue that with me anymore.
Well, the problem is not all the protesters for the pipeline were Native American. A lot of them were millennials and other people that didn't understand the entire thing that it entailed. Yes, there were Native Americans there, but I believe a larger portion of them were not.
Yeah, bleeding heart fairy pinkos who like to be offended on somebody else's behalf, whether the other half is, offended or not. We had fucking a similar thing out here with the Aborigines, several generations ago. The government decided to take kids out of abusive homes and stuff like that and give them an education and all this kind of stuff. Apparently that's called the stolen generation. A couple of years ago there was a referendum to say that we had to apologize for that, me personally had to apologize for something that happened several generations before I was alive. And it's like, well, no, fuck off. I haven't fucking treated them like shit. Fucking why the fuck do I have to apologize? How's about we fucking work on how the world is right now, how we're treating them right now, not what we fucking did generations ago. Fuck it.
But that's why I said what I said essentially with this, because I tweeted out earlier today before I started all my adventures a bill, HR 40. It is literally a House referendum for reparations that's circulating through Congress as we speak. It is the thing.
Which is ridiculous in my opinion.
And
hashtag unpopular opinions, but I said this on Discord earlier and I'll stand by it live on air. You want to talk about reparations? My family owns a plantation home in Shreveport, Louisiana. They also own a ranch house out in Shreveport. How about my stolen
property? They did before they died.
You know what I mean? You want to talk about reparations? How about stolen property? We can have this argument. I don't think you want to.
Didn't you guys secede from the Union though? So the Constitution didn't apply.
Don't you live up north now, Dodge?
Shut up, Sherardi.
See, that's why I come up with because nobody looks at that counter argument when they're sitting when they're shouting for reparations, and they don't ask this question, because every time you ask the question, you're told to what? Check your privilege. The question is, how long must we suffer for the sins of our fathers?
See, I don't fucking care. It's all in the past. Shit happened, and I'm not paying for what some dead dude did 200 years ago.
Should the son
Yeah.
be responsible for the sins of the father?
Okay,
And the-
means say we're related. Say we're related, and I'm the dead person who did something really bad, and you have to pay for whatever the fuck I did. Do you think that's okay?
Am I helping to make someone whole?
They didn't go through anything. These
Did
people are not being harmed. They have the same rights, the same regulations, sometimes even more depending on what colleges, what jobs, than
Did-
white people.
Well, here's the thing. Not only are they not being harmed anymore, because they're not. The harm that is coming through their community is self-imposed.
Yeah.
And it is from this sense of you owe me. You know what I mean? I'm always the victim. It's this victim mentality. And yeah, go ahead.
Go ahead. You weren't finished. Go ahead.
Well, no, and it's just like this idea, oh, I'm white, so how dare I say that? Well, how dare I not say it? Because seriously, you guys are in this self-fulfilling fucking cycle of hurting yourself. You
Well,
need to break out of that.
Well, mental state, and
Bud.
there are certain things, Ace Bud, that can definitely contribute to a potential self-fulfilling prophecy. But Mad, are you saying there aren't issues for folks in like the black community and shit? Like I thought you had.
Well,
saying
there's
that
a shit ton of issues, but
Yeah, I
they're
didn't say
mostly
there weren't issues.
self-inflicted.
I didn't
Didn't
say
you-
there weren't issues.
I mean,
No.
I grew up in downtown Atlanta, and I didn't grow up there, but I lived there for a few years. But having grown up about 25 minutes south of the city, I went into the city to work, and I would see what the difference is in between just the surrounding suburbs of the city and the city itself. I would say from the mid to late 80s to about the mid to late 90s, there was this push for black-owned businesses and the black-owned businesses wanting to be only patronized by who? The black community. There's only one problem. They were going out of business because there's no other way to phrase this. They weren't patronizing their own businesses.
No, because they had rights, which means they could go to other businesses.
Now here's the thing. There was a bookstore next to the place I was working at the time that I would go. I went in there once and only once. I was looking for a book, seeing what they had in there. I found something that was interesting, and when I started leafing, I picked it up because you read the spine, you read a little synopsis in the middle, you flip to the back. That's what I was doing. The entire time I was getting this stare from the proprietor of what the fuck are you doing here, white girl?
Well, yeah, when you alienate your base, so to say, your patrons,
Yeah.
then you're not gonna succeed. And when you have this mentality of we're for our own people and only our people, well, this is America, you idiot. If you want to sell a product, sell it to everybody. You're a fucking dumbass.
Yeah.
It's even fucking better than that. I don't know whether you've seen it on Bearing a couple of years ago, but there was this vegan cafe for all the feminists in Melbourne. And they were going to charge blokes 20% more or some fucking shit like that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
18% man tax.
Well, they went broke because, they didn't understand a very simple premise that fucking not every cunt's a vegan and not every cunt's a feminist, and there's tons of bloody cafes in fucking Melbourne and everybody had a choice. Didn't bother me because I live in a completely different state and I'm not a fucking vegan anyway, so there was absolutely bugger all chance I was ever going there.
Well, no, there's this idea of in Portland, Oregon, these white girls went down. They went down to Mexico, right? And they learned how to make fucking tacos really good. And they came up and they opened up a taco stand. It was successful. They made quite a bit of money. But how dare they be a couple of white girls? That's cultural appropriation. And they got shut down. Are you kidding me? If that white bitch knows how to make a taco better than the other guy, then I'm going to buy the taco from the white bitch. I don't
Yeah.
give a fuck.
Now here's the,
Oh, are you talking about the women who actually went to Mexico and
Yeah.
studied under the Mexican women?
yeah.
yeah. Oh,
Yeah,
here's
no.
another piece. Here's another tidbit for you that's floating around. Remember that restaurant that kicked out Sarah Huckabee Sanders because of who she was and because of her political affiliation and who she worked for? They're losing money.
Oh yeah.
They're losing money.
I thought it was more because they thought that she was going to eat the place out.
Nope. They refused to serve her and kicked her out because, conservative and Trump. Well, now it turns out that they're losing money.
Wow.
No, and the one
Yeah.
thing that did suck about the whole Sarah situation is, how that all played out.
Send
and
the
she,
link out. CSG wants to come in.
all right. You can scroll up, Common Sense Guy, or go to Discord, or I'll throw the link out again, I suppose. But no, Maddie, you seem to have a quite a strong opinion when it comes to the Native American community, and I do disagree because I feel like they are hurting themselves, and if you're gonna hurt yourself, it's almost like the inner city community of Chicago or LA. Like, you're gonna fucking be in gangs and you're gonna shoot each other. Well, that's not my fucking problem, right?
You see, you can't see me, but I'm over here smiling because I was deliberately being the devil's advocate.
Usually that's memes.
What?
The devil's advocate, honey.
Yeah,
Oh.
throwing in the wrench for the reparations. Yeah, I was doing that on purpose. I do that sometimes to see what people's reactions are going to be.
Oh.
Well,
Yeah.
it is quite funny because me and Dodge were actually talking about this off air last night about the similarities between the American Indians and the Australian Aborigines, and the tribalism and all this kind of stuff. They lock themselves in their own community. A lot of things go on there that we could do something to stop, but we don't particularly do because they have their rights and their little rules in their own little clique, and that just perpetuates a downward spiral in their own society and all this. And what hurts them even more, particularly things like alcoholism and things like that, when you're talking about peoples who generally didn't have alcohol until the white person came along, they still genetically don't have a tolerance to it. So you have them types of people, they do become alcoholics quite quickly. And that does perpetuate more like domestic abuse and all this kind of stuff when, back where they live and all this kind of shit. And we should be doing a lot more proactive shit about that. And it's funny how on Australia Day, the day that we celebrate the founding of Australia, that they're now trying to say it's Invasion Day. And a TV presenter this year said, I'd love to see all these fucking protesters outside go actually out to an Aboriginal community and fucking go and see what it's actually like and speak up about all of that shit. And she was instantly branded a racist by a gook, Sheila.
Yep. No, it's like here when they renamed Columbus Day to
What?
Indigenous
What?
Peoples Day.
What?
Well,
no,
no,
it's fucking Columbus Day. Though.
It was interesting to
hell.
hear you guys
Sorry,
talking
Dodge.
about the reparations thing, and I did hear something about that about the reparations bill going through the Senate right now. And my only question is, do these people not realize that basically reparations will be taken out of taxes? So anybody working is going to be paying for these reparations. Ergo, if people in these communities are working, they're just paying themselves reparations ultimately.
Mm-hmm.
They don't
Am I
think
the
that
only
far
one?
ahead. They don't
Oh,
think that
I
far
heard
ahead.
from Mark. Oh, I heard from Mark Dice it was supposed to be paid for by a white privilege tax.
Oh, these people! I swear to God.
Yeah, Mark Dice is a giant troll.
Am I the only one who sees the hypocrisy in that?
No.
No.
Like, it's not even actually reparations, just giving them extra money.
Yeah.
And in that case, that maybe
More
maybe a tax
welfare.
break of like 2%.
Well,
But
And all you're going to do is make fucking drug dealers a lot richer in 1 week.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's the sad reality of it. No, you're absolutely right. That's the sad reality of it. Is many of these communities where they're calling for reparations, not all of them, to kind of parrot what Maddie said earlier. Not all of them, but many of these communities are ridden with drugs. I mean, have you been to Eugene, Oregon? Holy shit.
I believe there's some individuals that are familiar with that, but
Hey,
well,
you fucking hater. What the
hey,
fuck?
I'll be visiting. I'll be visiting next month. It's okay.
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking
And
at
he's
the
gonna
list
bring
now.
Godzilla.
I'm looking at the list now of all the co-sponsors, and okay, according to this, there are 52 co-sponsors for HR 40. All of them are Democrat, and oh, surprise, surprise, asinine occasional cortex, Omar Ilhan, and I think the whole trifecta of stupid are co-sponsors.
Oh, so it sounds like a lot of progressives.
Yeah, of course.
They're
Well,
not
of course
fucking
it would be a
progressive.
progressive back bill.
Yeah.
Well, no, and I'm thinking about when was the last time I was on a Native American reservation? Oh, I was buying illegal fireworks. And, I mean, really? Like,
Yeah.
I've only
Yeah.
been to the Cherokee Reservation, and I want to say West Virginia, or I don't remember where it was. I remember going down there, and we went tubing, and my foster father at the time was down there. I don't remember what he was buying, but it was some sort of narcotic substance. Yes, people, foster parents spend their hard-earned stipend, taking in children by picking up narcotics. Not all of them. Just to clarify, not all of them, but some do.
Hashtag not all.
All right, here's the next up that's gonna make you guys just roll your eyes. Okay, it's points 5 and 6 of this bill, and I quote: "Following the abolition of slavery, the United States government at federal, state, and local level continued to perpetuate, condone, and often profit from practices that continue to brutalize and disadvantage African Americans, including sharecropping, convict leasing, Jim Crow, redlining, unequal education, and disproportionate treatment at the hands of the criminal justice system. And point number 6, as a result of the historic and continued discrimination, African Americans continue to suffer debilitating economic, educational, and health hardships, including but not limited to having nearly 1 million Black people incarcerated, an unemployment rate more than twice the current white unemployment rate, and an average of less than 1/16 of the wealth of white families, a disparity which has worsened, not improved, over time."
Are any of those things untrue?
No.
yeah, they're all
Okay.
Off me.
Here's my situation, all right? Here's my worldview. My father, my biological father, raised me as best as he could until he got really fucking sick with heart disease and diabetes, taking his feet and shit, before I had to go into foster care. Raised me in a poor as fuck neighborhood, right? There were only Black people that lived in this neighborhood. Only Black people. We're the only white family in this neighborhood. We're talking for like 15 miles, diameter from where we lived. And as a result, all we saw was like people who didn't want to work. They're getting welfare just because they didn't want to work.
Yeah, but here's the thing, though. I grew up in Baldwin Park, California. That's East LA. All right. I got beat up because my best friend was Black. I'm a white boy. I got beat up once again because my best friend was Black in Los Angeles.
Right.
All right.
I mean, even when slavery ended, not to cut you off, Dodge, I'm sorry, but even when slavery ended, there were still some slaves that wanted to stay on the plantations and worked. And they did stay on the plantations and work. Jim Crow, let's talk about Jim Crow. There are people who still want Jim Crow. There are people advocating and rallying and boycotting and petitioning and rioting, essentially, to have Jim Crow reinstated.
Black Lives Matter were doing that.
Yeah, it's fucking.
Most of the university academics as well. And
can't hear you, Tom. Sorry.
I said most of the university
it might
academics.
just be me. Can anyone else hear Common Sense Guy?
Yes, we
Yes.
can. Shut up so we can.
Try,
Yeah, it's just
try,
me.
try reloading. It's a Hangouts bug.
Yeah, hang on. I'll be right back.
I was going to quickly say most of the university academics are also pushing that as an actual narrative, and so are most of the university students, where they're actually were suggesting, especially in the University of Brown, I believe, where they're actually going to separate black dorms and white dorms, and actually separate again white drinking fountains and black drinking fountains. That was in the University of Brown, so that's actually being advocated for, or at least was.
I remember in high school, and this was 87, 88, 89, 90. I graduated in 91. There was murmurings back then about segregating all the races, not just white and black, all the races that were going to the school. Back then, we're talking 30 years here, people. And I said, we don't need a law for that. And everybody looked at me, and I said, when you finish eating your lunch, go outside and tell me what you see. Because what you've been blind to, I notice every day I walk outside. The people under the awnings were all the white people. The people that were sitting in the courtyard in the middle were all the people from Asia, Japan, all the Eurasian people. And then all the people to the right were black. And I walked out, and my friend started looking around. She goes, holy shit. I said, we've done it to ourselves voluntarily.
Actually, that's more societal as a whole. I mean, like, take a look at Sydney, for example. We've got a place called Cabramatta, which we call Vietnamatta. There's a place called Auburn, which we call Little Legoland, because it's all full of Muslims. There's a whole swathe of Sydney that's just taken up by Muslims. You got, and this is how that happened pretty much, was that during, like, just after the Vietnam War, we took in a whole bunch of Vietnamese migrants, and they were wandering around Sydney. They found another person who spoke Vietnamese, and it's like, oh, I live over here. Oh, well, I'll move next to you, so I've got someone to talk to. That's literally how that happened. We got the Greek section, we got the Italian section, and no kidding, in the late 90s, we had an influx of people from the Sudan, and they. I joke about this, but it actually is so prevalent it must be fucking true. They've come out here, they've taken one look at the map, and they've seen we had a city called Blacktown, and they've just gone, oh fuck, they've got segregation here because all the Sudanese moved to Blacktown. No kidding.
Well, it's like my mother. She used to sell real estate, and at the top of her game, we were talking around the dinner table one day, and she said, "It's what I have seen selling real estate it just astounds me." I said, "What do you mean?" She goes, "Okay, there's a subdivision. It gets built. There's a model. You sell the model. You're selling the houses to middle to upper class white families. Your 2.5 kids. How, as my mother would say, and I quote, your mother, father, and 2.5 kids. How the hell you have a half a kid? I don't know." As she continue, as you go, and further down the road, after this has been established for a few years, you have some black families that buy houses and move in. And the more black families move in, the more white families move out. She goes, and then you see the migration again when the Asian families start buying houses and move into the subdivision. The black families start moving out. And all of them are for the same reason, because of quote unquote property values dropping.
Yeah.
She goes, but when they're leaving in mass to get away from the race that is moving into the subdivision, is it actually because of property values, or is it because of something that people don't want to address? And I went, you mean the elephant in the room? She went, yeah, it's a rather large one that people tend to ignore on purpose.
It's funny because the only reason, and I'll address this real quick, because I don't think it really matters to the whole of the conversation, but something interesting that I find hilarious is that the only reason the property values drop is because people move out of the areas, which causes a perception thing that, oh, well, this isn't a good neighborhood.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But when you have the segregation going on, it's really interesting. You want to be equal, but you want to be separate. Once again, Jim Crow does come to mind, right?
Mm-hmm.
Equal but separate. Interesting.
It'd be like that Key and Peele sketch all over again.
Well, if I may, I'd just like to put it through to people. Freedom doesn't mean that everybody is treated equally. Freedom actually means that it's the freedom to make your own choices. So if people decide to stay with their own sides of communities, if they want to stay with Japanese people, they stay with Japanese people. If they want to stay with English people, so on and so forth.
Mm-hmm.
Should we take away that right from people to do that just because we want a form of social cohesion or multiculturalism?
In some
No.
cases, yes. Yeah, because, this is the problem that we're actually starting to look at here now, especially with, say, places like people like the Sudanese and all this kind of stuff. You've heard about the violence in Melbourne. And people are now stating that, well, what we should have done in the first place is instead of letting them go into a city and congregate in their own little groups, we should send them individually out to country towns and all this kind of stuff. They have to spend at least a year or two out there learning our culture, learning our language, and learning how we function, and then they're allowed to move into the city.
Fine, but that's to do with culturalization. That's not to do with the actual forms of choosing to be with your own race.
Well, no,
As in, a lot of people themselves would say, carry on.
Yeah. You can go here real quick. I got to give a shout out to Jez Oldfield. He sent a Streamlabs $3 towards the next fireworks run. These people have to eat. Yeah, no, man. Next time I buy some mortars for 4th of July, I'll be thinking about you, buddy.
Yeah, quickly to go back to the point that I was saying, is that's to do with culturalization. That's not to do with the idea of white people wanting to stay with white people, or people that are part of Crips wanting to stay with Crips, or whatever. It's nothing to do with those types of racializations that want to stay with other races. They generally want to stay with people that look like them, but that's not to do with culture, because you're talking about culturalizations where you have the Sudanese that are forming their own, in essence, colonies. In essence,
Yeah.
that's nothing to do with that's nothing to do with actual forms of culturalization. They're not forming to the country in which they're going to. If you were to take away that and you were to make them form their own communities, which they would do naturally anyway, but take away the deculturalization of it, then they would just be Australians that are now Sudanese in their own subgroup.
That's pretty much what we wanted. Well, because, about going back to Sydney, where we got Little Leboland, literally there are places there where if you wanted to get something that wasn't halal, you stiff fucking shit. And there are some places in there where, like, if you're a Sheila and you're wearing a short skirt and the van load of fucking locals comes along, well, that's your stiff shit for walking through Leboland with a short skirt, darling.
Yeah, it was like my grandmother. I had to laugh because she would tell me jokes and little stories about what was going on from Cuba at the time, and after a few years, she said, "You know what? I came up with a joke." I said, "Yeah, on your own?" She goes, "Very funny, smart ass." She goes, "Yes." I said, two children sitting on a stoop getting to know each other, and one says they're from Cuba, and the other one says, "You? Me too. What part?" And the first one says, "Miami."
That's pretty good. Yeah, it took me a second, but that's good.
Ironically, we have
You know,
in
I
New
looked
York
at my-
we had the same thing sorry, Maddie. In New York we had the same thing. When I one of the schools I went to, in my last few years of school, it was in high school, and junior year I remember hanging out with some of the kids whose parents came over from Dominican Republic, and they talk about how they're Dominican, and I'm like, dude, you've never lived the lifestyle. How can you claim that?
Yeah. Well, I mean,
That's
that's
kind of one thing that we don't have in the United Kingdom. When you have second and third, well, I don't know what it's like for every culture, but with certain people of color or black people in general at this moment in time that I've had the pleasure of knowing, when they're second and third generations, they don't say that they're Nigerian British. They're British or English or Welsh or wherever. And I find that absolutely amazing because I'm a civic nationalist. I believe that people that come to the country should follow the laws. I don't give a shit what race you are. But if you come to a country, you should assimilate to the country you're in. If I went to France, I would have to learn French. So on and so forth. And that pains me as a British person to fucking say. But if I moved there, I would have to do that.
Yeah.
Well,
Like, my parents, my grandfather, my family that came here prided themselves in learning the language, getting jobs here, getting an education here. And when they got married and they had children, then the next step that they felt had to be done was
Done. You're Americans, but this is where you came from.
Well,
And,
no,
you know, explain to us, you know, where we came from and what was going on down there so we could be grateful of what we are able to do in the United States, the freedoms that we have that, you know, our parents didn't because of where they came from.
well, yeah,
Yeah,
no,
that
and that's the thing. When it comes to American culture, African American, Latino American, what have you. No, we're Americans, asshole. Like, knock it off.
It-
You know, my last name might be Irish. I don't fucking go around yelling that I'm an Irish American. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But that used to be annoying back in the day. Like you'd speak to someone with a name like Theo Fuckadopoulos or something like that. You're like, oh yeah, what part of Europe are you from? No, I'm Australian. It's like, not with a fucking name like that. What part of Europe did your parents come from? Oh, they're Australian. No, you okay? Your grandparents. Oh, they came from Greece. Yeah, thank you very fucking much. That's the fucking question I was trying to ask in the first place.
You don't realize how that could be confusing to some folks.
Well, I suppose that the question on that point shouldn't be where were you born or where did you come from? The question should be where's your heritage from?
Yeah.
Yeah, true. That's sort of the similar question. Where'd you come from? Where's your heritage?
No, where do you come from is where have you been sort of thing, the old adjective in the old song. Where do you come from is where were you born? Your heritage is where were you heritage from?
See, I thought that was where did you come from? Where did you go? Where did you come from? Cotton Eye Joe.
Exactly.
No, but is it where were you born? Because this is an argument I have with Sherardi. I was born in Shreveport, Louisiana. I say I'm from Louisiana. She says I'm from Oregon because I've been in Oregon since I was 8 years old.
You're from planet Earth.
Where does the argument come down here?
We are all Earthlings.
Having worked for the Census Bureau, I ran into this more often than not because the Census Bureau asks you what your race is and what your ethnic background is.
Wait, hold on a second. Wait. So the census asks what your ancestry is, but we're arguing over if you're a U.S. citizen?
No. The Census Bureau asks you what the color of your skin is, and then where's your country of origin. Now, this is a problem from people from other countries because when you ask them what their race is, they tell you, I'm Argentinian, I'm Peruvian, I'm Ecuadorian, I'm San Salvadorian. So you have to explain to them that in America, because I did this. I explained this to one person. I said, what I can't control is what I am, but where I'm from is who I am. I went, yeah, that's stupid.
Yeah, in a way, I completely totally agree with what Maddie just said, because you have Mandel just saying, well, I'm from Louisiana, or I'm from Oregon. Well, no, you're actually from America. It doesn't matter what part of America you're from America. It's the same as when we go back to, whatever. But it's still the same as, I can't remember is it Farty, the Australian guy? Is it? Yeah. It's the same thing as what Farty was saying, what we were talking about previously. They were saying, well, I'm from Australia, but their heritage is from Greece in the example that we were using. The same as Mad Dodge's heritage is from Ireland. That doesn't mean that he's Irish, though.
Yeah.
Well, my heritage is actually Scottish, and I'm only Scottish when it fucking suits me. And like, well, Australia shits me so bad that I'm more fucking Scottish than I am Australian. And they came over with the first fleet, so.
Does anyone truly like Scotland, though?
As an Englishman that's actually going anywhere near sort of an independence rally sort type of thing from Scotland, I'm going to say yes. I really like the Scottish people. Please stay part of the union.
Yeah. For the 2000 census, not very many people know this because I was working in the office at the time. They called us all in the office. They gave us a copy of the long form, and they said, we're having a problem with the Hispanic and Latino contingent filling out this form. We're going to walk you through it, and if any of you have an idea or an inkling as to why they would be resistant, let me know. So, all right, so they started walking through it. It got to the part of where are you from, and when you checked Latino, it said go to page so-and-so, where you had a 2-page spread of all the Hispanic and Latino countries.
I raised my hand and they said, what? I said, where are the 2 pages of the people from Europe? Where's the page for the Asian people? Where's the page from the islanders and stuff where they can figure out exactly where they're from? Well, we didn't include it, but you have 2 full pages of Hispanic and Latino countries that you want them to be specific with, but you don't understand why they're feeling singled out?
Well, in the last census I did, they said you couldn't use Jedi as a religion because, well, people were doing that. So I did, and sometimes it's using the Force shit actually works. But fucking the last one that they actually did here, fucking, I never even bothered to fill it out because you could do it online, and it turns out that China tried to hack us so fucking bad it crashed the system several fucking times. So I just went, no, I done it. Oh, we can't find you. Yeah, well, that must have been China that stole it.
Or is it Russia nowadays? I can't remember.
Wait, I thought Jedi was an official religion in the UK.
In the UK, but not Australia.
Yeah,
I think that is amazing that Jedi is official religion. But I'm looking at the chat.
Trekkie's one as well, I think.
Yes.
Okay,
yes, it is.
so Lord of Cancer, Senor del Cancer. I'm 3rd generation Argentinian American. I just call myself American. I don't know any Spanish or Costarella. No, I don't know. Like I butchered that, I'm sure. And he's perfectly fine with that. Well, no. And
He went on to say, I hate it when people say, proud to be blank American. You're not Irish or Italian. You happen to be an American of Italian or Irish descent.
But why did he only pick on the white races? Why didn't he pick on the black races?
Yeah, no, he's just trying to denounce his Argentinianism because there's a pom in the room.
What if one of those black races is Italian or Irish? Maybe that one of their parents is Irish or Italian.
See, that's the inherent problem with.
Sure, but where was their heritage?
Right. That's the inherent problem in this country, or inherent problem in general.
Is there a place like that? Sorry, Maddie, please carry on.
Yeah, go ahead, Maddie. I the black Irish joke. Common sense guy was losing his shit. Sorry.
I know, it's okay. I mean, that's the, when you start talking race, there becomes an inherent problem because you're leaving out people that don't have a quote unquote race. Because Latinos and Hispanics are an ethnicity that can be any skin color.
They're just Catholic.
I was going to say, so what you're saying is that they are the most oppressed people because at least black people have a race.
Exactly. That's exactly what I'm saying. We're oppressed, goddammit.
Right, you've just moved up on the Olympic spot. Exactly. You're near the top.
I'm earning them points, man.
For the win.
Oh, I had somebody make the joke one day.
I have epilepsy.
No. Somebody made the joke one day. I said, well, I was born here and my parents are from Cuba, so how does that work? And somebody literally typed in the live chat, half of you writes the check for reparations and then your other half catches it.
That seems very redundant.
Yeah, I know it does.
No, it's all right, Maddie. I took my buddy, he's from El Salvador. I took him to Taco Bell, and he's like, fuck off. We're not friends anymore.
To be fair, that was pretty racist of you, Mad Dog, taking a Latino to an American Latino place.
Yeah, he wasn't,
Oh, I have Latino friends, or had Latino friends in school that would have found that funny as hell.
I saw the look on somebody's face in a Publix one time when my mom was telling them how the Cuban sandwich was actually supposed to be, because there were Publixes that were built in Georgia. And the lady looked at me, at my mother, she goes, with all due respect, ma'am, how do you know that is exactly the way a Cuban sandwich is made? Mom goes, because I'm from Havana, Cuba. Next question.
Oh, dude, I love Cuban sandwiches.
Hey, you guys have food in Cuba? I didn't know you guys had food.
The regime's changed, Mad Dogs. The regime has changed. Come on, get with the time.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're driving 57 Chevys now instead of 56 Chevys.
Yeah, they've gone up a year.
Exactly.
They've evolved.
Levy was dry.
They were eating under Batista. They're trading beans for newspapers now.
No, and looking at the chat again, we got the hamster up in there. What's up, James? Matt Dodge, you drink and you still don't know shit. Well, fuck you too.
To be fair, isn't that the point of the stream, to be an oxymoron, as Mad Dodge just doesn't know things?
I thought that was just
He knows
me.
stuff about the
was-
Civil War. He
was
should do
True,
I
true,
drink
true.
and
He
I
does.
know things for his war streams, but
True.
that's about it.
He definitely knows that. I'll give him that. He definitely knows.
I
a
thought
lot
it
of
was
shit about
mostly
that.
MC.
Yeah. Oh, I remember the what the fuck moment I had when I started the documentary of the history of Cuba, because it got to the point where it said Batista had arrested the Castro brothers, and I'm like, okay, that's good. He said, and then later on, he said he was losing favor with the Cuban people. In order to gain the favor back, he opened and allowed the Castro brothers to leave jail. I went, oh, you done fucked up, son. That's gonna come back
Pretty much.
you in the ass. So I'm reading the history, and it comes back. You know, they come back with Shay. They do all this shit, and I'm like, see, this is why you don't release your enemies from jail, you dumb fuck.
I'm going to
See,
suck a
I'm
meme.
going to be that guy. I'm going to be that guy. Do you mean the WWE Batista?
No.
Wait, David Cubano?
I'm going to chuck a meme real
Straight
quick.
Sith male, Sith male in the chat says, Maddie, the Muslims owe reparations for over 900 years of oppression of Spain.
True that.
Here I am wondering if I have any Spanish relatives.
Are you guys still Catholic? Just wondering.
I'm not. My mom's not. And after my grandmother would basically christen the kids Catholic and then go, all right, do whatever you want.
Oh wait, so they just gave him some wine.
My grandmother for years tried to pressure me to be Catholic by asking me every year if I had taken the first communion yet. And when I was 12 with my parents present in my grandmother's living room, I looked at my mom's mother and went, I'm Baptist, and I left the room.
What? Oh, I took my first communion, I think, a couple months ago.
Aren't you Jewish?
I thought you were too old to be jizzed on by a priest.
Well, my dad looked at me kind of funny, but they were offering me like a cracker, which apparently I consumed the body of Christ. So
Yeah, you ever heard of the game Soggy Sao?
it made me feel
Oh,
good.
Lovely. But to be fair, Memes, does that mean that you lose your principles so quickly that you can be bought for a biscuit? No wonder why you don't keep your women.
I know, right? Memes is like free wine and a cracker. Fuck yeah.
No, there wasn't any booze. It was a Sunday.
I thought Meme scared off women with his malformed genitalia.
Oh.
No, that's only TSA agents.
Oh, okay. And only the female ones then.
No, just them in general. He's not picky. Just TSA.
Well, the X-ray machine's usually like, sir, where you have an abnormality, and it's like, oh, okay, oh, you're fine. There's no bomb residue or anything. It's like maybe it's just my liberal nature. It's just kind of chilling out, hanging low, and abnormally to the left.
To be fair, you do have a Muslim beard now.
Yeah, you're
Just saying it.
Don't mind the
Wait,
double
what?
set of Geiger alien mouths, right?
Dude, when I had my knit cap, XX Mrs. Memes made me, dude. Like when I get like a bunch of
How many X's was that?
2.
XX.
Okay.
Dude, my old roommate who lives in the greater Florida area now, he told me, he's like, you look like you're from the
Jesus
Mideast.
Christ, Memes.
What?
So
What-
2 X's.
your
Do you
hair?
have a beer now?
What?
Have a beer?
Oh, come on.
Alfalfa.
I
Yeah,
have to keep the
alfalfa.
beard, or else you're going to call me Richard Spencer again. Leave me alone.
What the fuck happened with your hair?
Okay, all right.
2 X's
So,
ago, was that a Dos Equis? Was that a beer?
Well, no, I'm looking at
that's
the
a cat.
real quick. I'm looking at the chat. Hammered Spud says, interesting. My knowledge of the KKK ends at the silly hats and Mad Dodge's membership. I really should look more into it.
Hey, Memes,
I
I,
am-
can see your pussy.
I am not, nor have I ever been a member of the Klan. They have funny hats, and I don't agree with
Hey, we call it the organization.
But
Well,
literally,
at least-
but literally, your profile picture is a funny hat. It's not the funny hat, but it is a funny hat.
I like his funny hat. Oh, does it still have Bullock's like swastikas and stuff?
we got rid of got rid of that.
And oh god,
So what are you
At
going to do
least-
when Slash wants his hat back?
at least Memes isn't showing off his crotch today.
That's you get one. You get one. It was inappropriate. It's still on the internet.
We can still see his pussy.
It might be timestamped.
It's probably timestamped. It's probably timestamped. It definitely needs to go on. What was it they used to call it? The bite size or whatever it was.
Dragon
You
Bite?
put on your tab?
You play a prominent role in many of those.
I know I do.
There's a lot of good shit in there, man.
What can I say? I'm good for a laugh.
Dude, when folks want to dox me and like try to run me into the ground, it's like, you don't got to dig up shit. It's all right there.
Yeah,
Have at it, right?
Yeah. Okay, common sense guy. How's that
Yes.
Brexit going?
Fuck off.
Dude, we already lost Cabby from me doing that. Don't push him.
Are you
okay,
sure?
in all
Are you-
seriousness, common sense guy, are you for or against leaving?
I'm for leaving. Massively for leaving.
Yeah,
Makes
speaking
sense.
Of,
I mean,
speaking
the
of two
EU has been
whores on the
fucking
corner.
people over.
Yeah,
I'm
speaking
sorry,
of-
I got lost in Australian. What was it you were saying?
I said it makes sense since the EU's been fucking people over.
Yeah.
Sorry, Farty. I forget that we have a stream later on tonight, and I can talk over you then.
Well,
Oh dear.
well, common sense guy. All right, dude. When the fuck is the Queen of England gonna grow
Never.
a pair of balls?
She won't. She
no,
won't.
no.
She won't.
All
If she interferes with Parliament, it actually breaks the Parliament creed that was actually from Oliver Cromwell's time, where it states that she will not interfere in Parliament. If so, it will be a declaration of war.
But she has the power, right?
Okay.
She has the power if she so chooses, yes, but it will be a form of declaration of war on the British citizenry in Parliament
But
Wow.
why would she still have the right then?
because she has the power in principle, not the actual implementation.
Do you see that? He used to have a nice beard.
I had to
Did he
trim it,
really?
dude? It's
He used
It
to
just
have
looks
a nice
ginger.
beard.
It just looks ginger. Nobody with a ginger beard looks like they've got a nice beard.
hey, don't hate on my Scottish/Ashkenazi heritage.
Yeah, that's not
Your
ginger.
fucking
That's not
tongue.
ginger. That's hangover piss.
No, I was writing an article in the Cheeto Fuhrer. Duh.
No, you're like Jar Jar Binks with the long ass tongue. Did you get it fucking stung on the fucking warp nacelle? What the
These
hell?
are destructions of memes.
Oh dear. Oh dear
And
God.
then memes with Jordan Peterson.
Oh, that's XXX Mrs. Memes.
Yeah.
Oh, I only had a little bit.
That's funny because he was a tease.
All these
Hey,
things.
voice.
But no, I actually do want to dig
voice.
on that conversation, common sense guy. So the Queen has the power technically, but if she tried to initiate said power, even people like you would be offended. You would rise up.
Yes, I would, yes.
Why? Don't you want
Because
her
she
to
has no
take
right interfering in a democracy. We are not a monarchy, so she has no right in
You
taking
are a
power.
monarchy.
over-
You're a constitutional monarchy. Are you saying you're going to like all of a sudden raid Buckingham Palace?
No. Man Dodge's question was that if the Queen interfered with Parliament to decide that she was going to take over the Brexit negotiations, then I would rise up against that because she would be taking over our sovereign state and our democracy.
Fair enough.
Well,
Even-
personally, since fucking all these Ramonas are basically interfering with the democratic process anyways, I don't think it's really neither here nor there whether she just goes, all right, no, fuck it, we're going with the first vote. And if anyone doesn't like it, you can fuck off my island.
True.
Yeah,
but
I was gonna say
I
something
would put
similar.
back to you. True, no, I would put back to you though that I would rather have people moaning in general that the democracy is not their democracy than somebody actually physically fucking taking over the democracy and kicking it to the curb and having a monarchy. I'd rather have that illusion of democracy.
CSG, what's the Queen's Twitter handle? Because I just added the Queen and it comes up with Malika-the Queen.
I'm not sure that that's the right queen. That could be the
That's
Queen
why
of
I'm
Queens.
asking. I'm asking, what's her handle?
I
So
don't
act-
think we have
I'm
one.
not. I don't
No,
follow
it's
her.
okay. I can tell you what her handle is.
I think the
It's
Queen's handle is under her
Freeloader
neck.
69.
At
She does
Queen
like a
UK leads
69.
the copyright. Huh. You think
She
this
does
week-
like a 69.
I heard that was a good year.
Apparently.
It's
Apparently.
actually the lemon party.
Yeah, but my thing remains: if you want to leave the European Union, why not let the Queen take the power that is rightfully hers?
Because then how do we fight the Queen and take the democracy back from her if she's now taken over as a monarchy?
Is
Well-
it Mary, Queen of Scots?
I'm thinking exactly the same thing, but it's still a form of violence, and we would have to actually overthrow the monarchy again. We kind of did that already.
CSG, like she is like 106. It won't be long till she dies anyway.
Don't
So what
be
you're
silly.
saying-
The Chelsea pensioners would take over. I'm guessing that's only an English joke.
Yeah.
Basically, the
I
Chelsea
wasn't even.
pensioners
I
do have
wasn't
to be
even
over.
listening.
Basically,
Sorry.
the Chelsea pensioners are everybody that is over the age of 70, and they are an army.
Well, they were Dad's army.
The more you know, I guess.
It'd be more like the Barmy Army. They just get pissed at a cricket game.
Yeah, but here's the thing, though.
I'd join that.
Okay, maybe the power would go down to William. Is it William or Charles that's next in line?
Charles.
Charles would be in
But-
charge.
But Charles is going to advocate, though, right? That's
Dude.
the word way.
Dude, look
He
at this.
says he would.
Dude, 9 hours ago, the Queen of England learns to shoot. That's freaking amazing.
That's old.
Yeah, obviously that's
Is
not.
that's
Obviously
not
that's
actually
not.
the Queen, but that lizard looks very gallant.
You have a good way of trying to derail conversations.
Oh,
It's just a natural troll in you, though. I'm sure.
I would
that's
love
true.
to get memes on the drinking game.
Oh God, that'd be funny as hell.
Oh, you know what? Memes, you need to come on the drinking game tonight.
What's the drinking game? I was planning on drinking tonight.
We do the Rotten Tomatoes drinking game over on my Discord server.
Oh, when is that? Because I was planning on going out
It's gonna
drinking.
be in 4.5 hours.
Oh, that might line up.
That's when we get set up anyway. We get set up in about 4.5 hours.
Should be like
3.5, sorry.
yeah. That's
4.5 we go live.
Well, if
Sorry, I definitely can't do that.
well, if,
You'll be asleep.
if
You'd
Charles,
like to think so. I'll be getting ready to go to college.
if,
take a cat nap.
Jesus
if
Christ.
Charles is going to advocate, then William would be the next one in line. Do you think William would continue on the wielding the power that his grandmother had wielded? Because I think
Depends.
I would say right now, if I was King of England, I would dissolve Parliament.
That'll
immediately.
never fucking happen.
I know, but if I was, I would dissolve Parliament.
No. I think Mad actually is line. He's like 79,836,000 and like 542.5 away.
Why the
Uh-huh.
half? Are you saying that he's only half a person?
Well, I'm
Yes,
sure. I'm
yes, he
sure
is.
there are folks that are at a certain level. Dude, we've never defined when a human life actually begins over here in the States, and that's a problem.
No. You
I
see,
agree.
the half person is the one that got vaccinated, so they've now got Down syndrome, so they're only half a person.
It's autism. Come on, get it right. If you're going to do a
Guys,
joke about
guys.
vaccinations, it's autism.
You
No,
guys
there
have
are
it
some
all
anti-vaxxers
wrong.
there are some anti-vaxxers that think they cause Down syndrome.
Yeah, but
Shandor.
most of them in general, as the stereotype would be, or archetype would actually be that they think that it causes autism.
Yeah.
But all anti-vaxxers are retards in general.
Yeah,
Yes,
they
we
are.
can all agree on that premise.
You
I-
guys have it
I
all wrong.
thought there were-
Anyone who follows the Dodgers is only half a person.
Shandor, you're gonna have to invite memes to your server. He's not in here.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. Let me dig up the
Well,
invite.
no, and Frank, it's been nice knowing you.
Fight me, bitch.
Ooh, that'd be fun to watch.
I'm not sure it would.
Aren't you from New York? I mean, really?
Originally.
Yeah. You people have no standing, in my opinion.
You people.
So that's right.
Yeah, he's being
excuse
bigoted.
me.
He is being bigoted.
Even if he's a Yankees fan, he's still a human being.
Do you think less of me because of my race?
Yeah, that's who Dodge thinks are the half people.
No, he's part of the same community as AOC.
Which is
Mr. Ed.
probably why Dodge thinks less of him.
My
Yeah.
family shot Yankees. All right, you're a Yankee. I'm sorry, dude. You know you're gonna
Hey,
have
I'm
to get
only
shot.
first generation
Hang on.
Yankee.
Hang on. Just 1 second. Does that mean that the previous part of your conversation, where the sins of the fathers still count on to our Yankees? Then are you being prejudiced towards Yankees now?
No, he's
Well
just being a
done,
hypocrite.
PFG.
Yeah, no, common sense guy got me there.
Hey, does anybody else think AOC? They just put some fucking peanut butter on the top of her mouth and then dub somebody else's voice over her?
Her mouth wouldn't move that fast.
What now?
It
Oh, you
depends.
put
If
peanut
she's
butter in
got
the mouth.
peanut butter on it, it would.
Are you
Yeah.
saying
Peanut butter's
that
nasty.
Mr. Edited?
Well, she's got the fucking teeth for it.
She has a lovely smile.
AOC is Mr. Ed.
I absolutely love her eyes. I
Do
can
not
get lost in
ruin
her eyes
Mr.
for
Ed
days.
for me.
Yeah, you can get lost in her eyes the
Mr.
same way as you
Ed,
can get
Oh
lost
my
in fucking
God.
Narnia.
Mule.
Oh my God, she looks. Now that I think about it, she does look just like a horse.
He looks like a mule. He looks like a mule.
Well, voice of one state for lonely.
AOC looks like a slap-sided mule because it literally looks like somebody's hit her across the head with a 2x4 one too many times.
Are you saying she's an ass?
Yes.
Okay.
All right, so I got the Discord invite in the chat for you guys.
Unlike Brie Larson, she has an ass.
Ooh, burn.
Too soon. Too soon.
I'm not sure it's
speaking
too soon.
Speaking of that bimbo, there's a fucking petition up saying that fucking she should abdicate her position as fucking bloody Captain America or Captain bloody Marvel flat ass
Captain
fucking
Planet.
diesel like whatever the fucking name
He's
is.
a hero. He's going to take pollution
pollution
down
down
to
to
zero.
And she needs to step down and replace herself with a black fucking feminist lesbian or something like that. And it's like up to 6,000 something
No,
views.
she needs to be replaced by that fucking 8-year-old child who
By a
kind of
gay
kicked
woman
her
of
ass.
color.
Yeah.
Gay woman of color. That's it.
Well, it's up to 6,187 bloody signatures on the petition at the moment. I signed it the other night, and it says, "Oh, why is this important to you?" And I said, "Because I'm a black woman, and I agree."
Go
I'm
planet.
not sure if that's incredibly stereotypical or if that's
God damn it.
racist.
All right.
Now I have
Sin-
Captain Planet stuck in my head. Thank you very much.
Since
Earth,
I'm not
you're
American,
welcome.
that'd be just
Win.
stereotypical.
It's fair enough. I agree.
I refuse to call her Captain Marvel in the movies. I call her Captain Bitchface. She's not earned a hero title in my book.
No, it was Captain Flatass, but now with the haircut, it's Captain Dieseldyke.
Is it sexist to still call her Miss Marvel?
It's Miss.
No.
Yes, she has a rank. She worked very hard for it.
Yeah, I bet she worked.
Who the fuck cares what she worked for? She's a stupid cunt.
She's
I
a
will,
captain.
I will have you know there were lots of couch auditions in order for her to reach that rank.
Yeah,
of
she
captain.
worked
Yeah.
shafts really hard to get there.
Dude, no,
Oh.
Shaft is in a different universe. I need to correct you right there. But here's the thing: we might have Captain Colepile in the chat, and he probably wouldn't appreciate that.
Uh-oh.
And
Can I just quickly,
do I care?
just quickly say something? Everybody was talking about the fact that she was working to get a shaft and everything else like that. One, don't take the piss out of sex workers. They generally have a job to do. Second, that would imply that she's actually fucking good at something. Don't give her that much credit.
Dude, the cam workers of the internet, dude, they need representation. I feel like they should have a union. Or
They need to pay their taxes.
Well, the last
Sorry, I saw Memes' face after I said that.
the last time I checked, you'd only have to spend time in the room with Harvey Weinstein. You didn't actually have to do anything yourself. He did all the work.
I'm right. Hi, sugar.
Wait, was he the plant guy?
No.
Oh, that was
He
Lucy.
just, I think he just joined. Yeah,
JJ in the chat says hashtag make prostitution legal.
I would.
It is out here.
No. Let me just ask. Okay, so Fardy, you're going to be the first person I want to go to. Would that solve a lot of problems?
Yeah,
Yes.
actually.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. On
Fucking-
behalf of married men everywhere make prostitution legal. No, okay.
Right. Here's what instantly happened the minute
I
we
am
fucking
so
legalized
telling your
brothels and
wife.
hookers. Like fucking divorce rates plummeted. Fucking the Sheilas, like mainly a lot of them got off the drugs. They had a place where they can actually go and work, which had security and all this kind of stuff. They got to choose who their clients were, so they weren't getting bashed up in the back street or anything like that. STD rates in the prostitute community went fucking almost to zero. They get supplied with condoms and all this kind of stuff. You actually have to wear a franger when you see them. Fucking yeah, shit tons of all good, man.
What the fuck's a franger?
Oh, I
Johnny.
learned this before. I learned this. It's in one of my Dragon Bites.
Oh, is
Well,
that a giraffe?
You're eating
I'm
frangers.
wondering, Sherardi, hey, Sherardi, snitches get stitches. All right, like
You're eating frangers now,
Honey,
you
I've
mean?
had
They're not the
2
used ones from the Catholic priests.
C-sections, and I've had one of my toes damn near cut off. So stitches don't hurt me, honey.
Was that your camel toe they cut off?
No, I stepped on a razor when I was a child.
damn. Okay.
Moving on, there's obviously that went over somebody's head.
No. I got it. I just completely bypassed it.
All I
Probably for
heard
the best.
was Sherati saying she sat on a razor.
No, stepped on a razor.
That's one way of putting it.
Nice.
They put a big crack in your ass. Oh, dear.
Even things out a little bit, did it?
Captain
The
Slash.
first one, honey.
But no, okay.
Spud had a good one. Let me bring it up. But Mad Dodge isn't a trans Yankee. He's an infiltrator agent.
Okay.
We need to eject. We need to eject Mad from his own stream now.
What the hell is Hyperborean even doing in here? He's just sitting.
He said
I'm
something.
biding my time. Biding my time, bitch.
Biding your time, biding your time. Biding your time to do what?
Think
Oh,
of
no.
something intelligent to say.
Yeah. pretty much.
Apparently.
So he's come to the wrong stream.
Yeah,
We
I'm
could
pretty
talk
sure
about
God
intelligence,
could
she's
actually
not
think of something intelligent to say.
See, Sharati, you waited so long to hear Hyporian actually speak that you didn't actually hear and let him speak.
Oh.
No, I heard him, and you mispronounced his name.
I don't
Just
care.
like everybody mispronounces mine.
Is that Wendigo splaining?
Yes, honey.
Okay.
Don't worry,
I
Shay
thought, like-
Ratey. We'll get it right one day.
Yeah. Well,
Oh, and you intentionally did it.
taxation is stuffed, and we don't need the government to build roads. There, I said it.
Everybody already knows that.
Yeah, but man,
how are
where
you
we're
gonna pick me
going,
up?
we don't need roads. But man, where we're
Yeah.
going, we don't need roads.
Oh, you got a DeLorean? Let's go.
No, I've got a flying train.
Oh, you're a wizard. That's right.
You're a wizard now, Harry.
No, I'm thinking of the third movie when they go to the Western. Or is it the
Yeah.
second? I can't fucking remember. There's
Might-
so
might
many
be-
of them.
Well, they got
Everyone
the car,
lost
too.
one.
I don't know if you ask me. The whole fucking thing is convoluted, ridiculous, just poorly written bullshit.
It's a
Am
good
I
thing
the
we didn't ask you then, isn't it?
I like Harry Potter.
Am I the only one who thinks Common Sense Guy could definitely pull off a Hordor or
Order.
What the fuck?
Good thing is I don't even watch Game of
Hodor?
Thrones.
or
I don't even watch Game of Thrones, so you have no idea what frame of reference you're using. Your intersectionality is not working on me, darling.
Oh, you haven't gone deep enough yet.
okay.
Oh,
ladies.
that's what she said.
You just need more sex. Enter.
Well, we just said that sex work is fine, so go deeper, baby.
Oh,
go
hold on,
deeper.
wait. How many people are here? Well, like 8 or so, and nobody here disagrees.
Wait, how did we go from racism to sex?
Yeah,
It's the same thing.
2019.
Yeah, it's all
Okay.
the same thing.
It's just like an episode of Game of Thrones.
Yeah, I have an orange.
I
Well,
I
let's be
really
honest.
don't know.
The best way of getting rid of racism is by intermingling the sexes, intermingling the races, letting people fuck whoever they fucking want.
Well, yeah. It's
Okay.
just got,
We can have a glorious utopian society like in the original Star Trek universe where everyone's either half black, half white, or half white, half black.
dude, I
Okay, so
want
it's
there to be a
supposed to be
Star
a
Trek
utopia?
future, even though I prefer Star Wars.
I don't want there to be a Star Trek future because it's a communist future.
You just don't like Ferengis, do you?
I know.
Oh.
Their ears are a bit weird.
What? Dude, they're probably very soft.
What's really
They
fucked up,
probably
and I'm
are.
sure what's really fucked up, and I'm sure Dodge might have an opinion on this, is how they make the Ferengis like this super capitalistic society, and yet demonize them the entire time, as if to say capitalism's bad, kids.
I wonder if there's a political message behind propaganda that's put on TV. I can only guess.
We're gonna have to ask Mr. Wizard.
Well,
I'm not
well,
sure
no.
about this, though.
Enjoy
No.
your 7 of 9 and 2 of 36.
Oh, definitely.
Well, no, that is interesting though. When it comes to the Ferengi, they describe them how at one point in TNG as Yankee traders, like Americans from New York. Yeah, your people, Frank. So
I always got the impression they were trying to take the piss out of Jews with the Ferengi.
Well,
Right, that's it. I'm leaving.
What
No, I'm
that's
gonna have
like
to
you
go
were-
anyway. I'm gonna have to go anyway.
Space
So I'm just gonna say bye. I'm just gonna say bye, not because of what he said, but because it's called it a fucking one. And I need to get up for college tomorrow. So bye, guys.
Alright,
See you.
see ya. Have fun.
See you later, guys. Cheers. Bye.
Yeah, I always kind of thought I was like a Semitic reference or something like that, or at least a Jewish reference in that respect. Just because I'm like, oh, Viggy, I just noticed it like the other day.
It's okay. I can't remember which Star Trek it was. It was one of the new ones where the Ferengi sat there and explained to a Romulan what war was in terms of profit,
Well, rule.
or how peace wasn't lucrative, or something
No,
like
no,
that.
no, no. Rule 34 is peace is good for profit. Rule 35 is war is good for profit. Or I may have gotten those reversed. My apologies. It's the Ferengi rules of acquisition, correct?
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I was thinking internet rules there for a second, and Rule 34 is definitely not that.
Oh, yeah. Well, it's under a different classification. It's kind of like spiders are a subsect of scorpions.
Yeah.
But there's probably definitely some Ferengi porn out there.
I don't want to see that.
oh, wait, no, they did it on Family Guy. They started doing you're abstinent, but you can have ear sex. Oh, wow.
Well, yeah, I remember that one.
I like big ears, and I
Yeah.
cannot lie.
Yeah, because the internet rules is Rule 34. If it exists, there is porn of it.
What is rule number 1?
I don't
Oh,
remember.
don't believe everything you read on the internet.
Didn't buddy Abraham Lincoln say that one?
It's around that time. I mean, it seems like a lot of folks that taught us that seem to have kind of forgotten it. But yeah.
Okay, so wrapping this all the way back around to why I invited Maddie onto the stream. Okay, did you notice the difference between the Bundy standoff and the Native American standoff? There really was a difference there, wasn't there?
The who stack you broke up when you said
The Bundy standoff in Nevada, and then the pipeline standoff.
was it
Something
the turtle guy? The Bundy one, that was the turtle guy, wasn't it?
that was the guy. He was grazing cattle on federal land that they had the rights to since the 1800s.
Yeah, the grandfather clause. Yeah, there was a marked difference. Not as many people came out for him as they did for the pipeline. But yeah, it's his was more of a this is my land instead of oh no, you're screwing up the environment with the pipeline and yada yada yada. And the one thing I loved about the whole pipeline debate and the protesters was, at that time, all you had to do was look up pipeline videos, And inevitably, in every one of them, there would be a diagram of all the pipelines that were already running in the United States. Like one more was going to make a difference.
Well, no, and what I found really striking was the difference between the government reaction on both. When you had the Bundy standoff, you had actual militia groups come out in support of the Bundy family. And they were fully armed and ready to go. When it comes to the reservation standoff, the government came out with hoses like this was the 1960s.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It was really striking.
Well, I mean, I think the difference there was they knew the protesters weren't armed. So they weren't going to bring, a disproportionate resistive force in order to, break up the masses, if you know what I mean. I mean, yeah, you could probably shoot 20 million people in the crowd, but they're all unarmed. And could you have imagined the uproar if they would have actually done that?
Yeah, Kent State.
Yeah. In the other case of the militias showing up, and then when the police presence finally did show up, they were armed. It was met with equal resistance. In other words, a little law that I used to run with one of my Shadowrun campaigns is whatever you want, I can have.
Wait, did you say Shadow Moon?
Yeah, I used to run Shadowrun 3rd edition.
Oh, Shadowrun. I thought you said Shadow Moon. I'm like, I played
No.
No.
The market difference was the armaments in both of them, because you can't bring semi-automatic weapons and lethal ordnance to a group of protesters that aren't armed. They weren't armed, really, over there in the pipeline. So the water cannons and the rubber bullets, the tear gas, all that stuff.
They could have had some tomatoes.
Yeah, but I mean, you throw a tomato at a police officer and then he shoots you with his gun. That's sort of disproportionate.
Oh, you done.
Well, no, and it's really interesting when it comes to the Bundy Ranch incident, at least, the fact that nobody did pull the trigger, because that would have been the shot heard around the world again.
Oh, yeah.
Actually, someone did get shot, but he fucking tried to charge the cops.
Yeah.
No, that was the Oregon standoff, and he didn't try and charge the cops. He was trying to drive around a roadblock, and they opened fire.
I've seen two angles of the video, one from a camera and one from inside the car. He was sitting there going, "Oh, they're going to shoot us. I'm going to get out and fucking shoot them. I'm going to get out and shoot them." And he got out and they fucking shot him. He had a gun.
Don't get out of the car.
He never left the car. He got shot through the windshield.
You can see it through off the fucking helicopter fucking footage. He gets out. He gets like about 5 feet from the fucking car, and they plug him. You can see it from in the car. He actually gets out of the bloody car.
I think they overreacted, and they had no right to shoot him. And I live here in Oregon, so that was local news, and he was unarmed. He didn't have a gun on him. He was trying to drive around the roadblock, which they had just left a meeting with the sheriff department, with the local sheriff, from the county over, and they were headed back to the refuge, the wildlife refuge, and that's where the roadblock was. It was a setup. No, I think that shooting was unwarranted.
Does Oregon have a stand your ground law?
Yes, and Oregon is open carry as well. Even if he was armed, he would have been legally able to be so. And I don't stand behind the cops on that one. And even the court system here in Oregon stood behind the Bundys.
I'm watching the footage right now. He's 10 feet from the car. He had his hands up. Now he's reaching into a jacket that just plugged him.
There's no gun in that jacket.
Link
well, it looked like he was going for one. Hang on, I'll put the link up.
I'll put it in the chat.
Yeah.
Do we need to teach more civics in high school and shit?
Yes, we do.
Okay.
I'm not even being ironic or funny about that. We do.
No, dude. Because I'm thinking like, you see so many of these different incidents, and it's like a lot of times I just don't think folks are familiar with their rights and stuff like that. And dude, if folks are dying, like that's a problem. And like if you have like dude, even when I went to go get like my real estate license and stuff, I took the class. The class was taught by a nice woman who happened to be an attorney, and she even said, she's like, I think everybody coming up through, I think everyone should have like 1 year law school or something like that, just so you know your rights, because it does make a huge
or at
difference.
least include it in a high school course. I think there are very specific things they should include in a high school course, like one of them being how to rent an apartment and money management, because who the fuck knows all this shit? Hey, Batman.
No, the big thing is prevent yourself from getting screwed. Because like if all of a sudden you get screwed, and even though it was legal, it's like at least if you're familiar, then it's like you're less likely to get screwed and
Right.
happier.
Well, no, and when it comes to all right, so there's a lot of YouTubers now taking the piss out of quote unquote sovereign citizens. No, you have every right to freaking ask if you're being detained, and if not, move along. Why exactly is it okay for them to have a DUI checkpoint? That is you're stopping everybody on the highway.
So people have right to free movement.
Yeah, and you don't have probable cause at that point. Now, do you?
Is there any limit to your free movement?
No, there's not.
Okay. So why are we having clashes and shit at the border?
Yeah.
Because Antifa's a bunch of cunts.
I'm not sure that's the particular major reason at the moment. Maybe in the future, according to some reports.
Memes, if you're talking about a national border, then that's a little bit different than the border between one city and another, or one
sovereign citizen of the earth, right?
No, I'm an American citizen. You are an American
citizen of the U.S. You need to specify. We need to use better words.
No, I don't have the right to freely move around Greece. I'm not Greek.
That's why I asked if there were limits to it. You said no.
I meant within the United States of America.
So you reckon you got the right to just freely just wander into the Pentagon and go anywhere you want?
Do I have the right to go stand outside Area 51 and record anything or everything I can see? Yeah, I fucking do.
Outside, not inside.
Well, that and the Pentagon, I think they have walls and fences.
Yeah. You even sneeze in the direction of Area 51, they escort you away.
So
from
yeah, he does get out of the car after he goes off-roading. It skids. He's like 15 feet away.
Yep.
He's surrounded by cops, and yeah, they just drop him like a sack of bricks.
You watch what he does. He lifts his left side of his jacket, and you actually see his right arm go into the left side of his jacket. Now, if some cunt did that to you, and it was a tense situation, what would you think? He's going for a gun.
What are you talking about? Because I was just watching CNN freak out about Trump lying.
This is the link I put in the side chat.
Oh.
Yeah, I put it in the actual chat for everyone to see.
Joshua in the chat. God damn it. All right, I'll go ahead and read it. Aim, shoot, aim, stay back. I'm pretty sure we all know who that is in reference to. God.
What?
All right, guys, I gotta take off. Thanks for having me, Dodge. I'll see you guys later.
Later, Frank. Yeah, no,
we will defend ourselves. We will defend ourselves. Stay back. Stay back.
Like, no.
As he's screaming like a little girl.
We will ram it up for views. Oh, sorry. That wasn't no. I'm not.
No, but of all the people that go Florida man,
Bye, Shandor.
It had to be Andy Worski to go full on Florida man, huh? Like,
well,
we have a saying up here from a local radio station. They have a bit that comes up every time there's a story about Florida, and it's like, Florida, not like the rest of us. And I like Florida, dude,
Says,
but what?
says the hippie from Massachusetts.
Well, yeah, because we all know Florida's where we go south for the winter.
Yeah.
I don't.
I did.
Visit your grandparents.
Oh, visit my dad, who looked like my grandpa.
God damn it, names.
I don't. I live next door to Canada, where I get snow up to my ass and sometimes higher.
Well, that's a very
I
good place
stay
too.
where there's snow.
I like mixing it up.
Canada. I like that. But all right, guys. So we're rounding out the 2-hour mark. I don't know. I think we'll leave it off on Florida. Man.
Joshua Janis says, I know Andy Worski finally got kicked out of the States.
Oh, no shit. I didn't know that.
You mean you raised a big enough stink for them to go, nah, fam, you got to go back now. We got enough problems. We don't need you to add to it.
And
You're
Jez
out
goes,
Florida
did they
manning a
finally
Florida
shoot
man."
the guy?
No, I think I
Did
know
he
what
have a
happened.
gun?
I think I know what happened. I think I know what happened. They walked up to him and said, we're going to have to send you back to Canada because you're out Florida manning the Florida man.
Yeah, speaking of sovereign citizens and Florida man and things like that, the best fucking Florida man I heard was one a couple of weeks ago where a Florida man jumped out of an airplane without a parachute just to prove that dying from a falling from a great height was a government construct, and he died.
A Florida man and a Darwin Award winner, all in the same article.
Are you sure he just wasn't getting his meds?
Memes. Wow, sometimes I wish
Lord.
that you would win a Darwin Award.
Oh.
I love you, but you really sometimes you need the Darwin Award on your wall.
Well, I've come close many times, and it's actually very sad that I'm still here and many other good people are not. But on that, Mad, I think that we should wrap it up.
Yeah, we'll call it good right there. Good night. Good luck. Don't go to France without a yellow vest. We're out. Peace.